both Karthik and I are class of 2011 MBA. Post Stanford, Karthik went to eBay and then to Flipkart. So he's an e-commerce veteran. I went back to BCG. I did a lot of work on food and grocery, food supply chains within the government. Was an apple farmer for years, as we mentioned earlier. But in late 2015, both of us decided that that we saw a big opportunity to really transform India's food and grocery ecosystem, and that's when we started JumboTail. So it's been about 4.5 years since we started the company. We're an online wholesale food and grocery and new retail platform. Our mission is to become India's largest new retail platform for food and grocery. I'll get to what we do in a little bit, but I think it's important if I just take everybody through broadly what the problem is that we're solving. If you look at India's food and grocery market, it's unique in the world in the sense that it is actually highly fragmented on both demand and supply sides. Most countries actually have fragmentation on one or none. India is fairly unique in the size of the market and how it's about $450 billion. And both the suppliers as well as the sellers or the last mile retailers are extremely fragmented. Just to give you a sense, the top 25 FMCG companies control less than 10% of the total market. A large portion of what actually sells in food and grocery is not particularly branded. It is fairly, a lot of staples don't actually have recognized brands. But even more fragmented is actually the demand side. So if you actually look at the demand side of the market, 98% of all food and grocery demand in the country actually flows through 10 to 12 million Kirana stores. This is unique. What we realized was that this actually presents an interesting opportunity to create what's called, what we believe is called platform power, where you create a benevolent platform that basically connects highly fragmented supply and demand, and is able to, using technology and cutting edge supply chain technology as well, able to actually plug those gaps and create efficiency. India is unique in many ways, and a lot of people ask, okay, Kiranas currently exist. What's going to happen in the future? Many other countries, mom and pop stores have actually not really survived. I think what we see in India is a very unique set of consumer behavior. So India is a very large, cook at home culture. People still buy a lot of staples to cook at home. Processed food penetration is extremely low. There's no surprise to anybody. We're also an extremely congested country. The concept of getting in a car, driving to a Walmart or a Costco and picking up, 2-3 months of supplies is not really something that exists. Also, our kitchens are small. We don't have large pantries, and so what the Kirana store essentially ends up doing is really serving two functions, right? For the consumer, the Kirana is actually serving, providing a pantry as a service, and for the brand, the Kirana is essentially providing a shelf as a service, and this presents some interesting opportunities. One thing that people talk about is, okay, how much of this is going to go online, B2C, a lot of money is going into B2C e-commerce and in food and grocery, multiple billions of dollars have gone into this. What's the future for B2C e-commerce grocery, right? One of the things that we've done is we've got, POS data from a variety of different stores, in the cities that we serve. And these are, POSs in stores that actually serve a variety of different communities. Some of them are in apartment complexes. Some of them are in, relatively lower income, middle income areas. Some of them actually serve online demand as well. One consistent thing that we see on this chart, what this chart tells you is, the average bill size that, consumers come in and buy. And one of the things that you'll see here is, 80% of all bills are less than 200 rupees. Now, this is interesting because what this means is that buying behavior in India is very, very high frequency, multiple top-ups, right? And this is across all demographics. We've seen this across different parts of the country as well, right? What this means, though, is that when you try and actually run a pure, e-commerce, B2C e-commerce venture, which is actually relying on distribution centers, etc., the challenge comes because as a country, we have MRP as a construct that actually limits the margins that anybody can make. So if you have an average ticket size of, say, less than 200 rupees, at a 10-12% margin, you're not talking about more than 20 to 25 rupees, as the total margin available. And this becomes very, very complicated. And this is one of the reasons why the economics of B2C online grocery are actually highly compromised. As far as large big box retail is concerned, rental costs, and obviously now with coronavirus preventing large groups of people coming to the same location, this becomes a big challenge. So what does JumboTail do, right? We started our journey behind the retailer. We said, let's solve the major problems that the retailer actually faces. And these problems, while the retailer will talk about a lack of space, a lack of money, but if you boil it down, a lot of them fall into the challenges associated with keeping stock in their store. Right? A typical retailer will spend 50-60% of their time actually just making sure they don't stock out. Yet every store actually has about 30-40% of revenue that they are losing because they don't have stock in time. And that's a function of the way that the sourcing happens. A typical retailer actually deals with about 100 to 150 different suppliers. They come at their own, some of these, which are FMCG companies, will come once a week or once in 2 weeks. As far as staples is concerned, about 60% of staples is actually 60% of what a retailer sells is actually staples. There, the retailer has to go to markets. This obviously is a problem in crowded cities. Obviously now with COVID, where these crowded markets are extremely crowded, this becomes even bigger a problem. So how do we solve it? We actually run an e-commerce marketplace. So the retailer, actually, we have about 25,000 retailers now who access our marketplace through a mobile app. We don't actually have a sales force on the ground. 100% of our orders come in through this marketplace. We actually run a full stack supply chain as well. This is something that we do internally. I'll get to that in a little bit and show you a little bit of a clip. This is something that allows us to really provide a service level that is unparalleled in the industry. And we also, for well-qualified buyers, provide working capital credit. We believe we're actually sitting on one of the largest credit opportunities in the country, both in terms of what the retailers and people behind them actually need, but also in terms of consumer credit, because of the fact that this is actually a very high frequency touch point. Over the last year, what we've also said is, given that we have these relationships, we have a deep understanding and deep connect with retailers, let us actually also go and help the retailer in the transactions that happen between the retailer and their consumers. This is our J24 initiative. Karthik will actually spend a little bit of time explaining that. But I just wanted to take a little bit of about a minute to take you through our supply chain. It's something that we have built from ground up. Technology that is built purely in-house. I'll spend a little bit of time explaining this.
We own and operate end-to-end supply chain and logistics completely powered by in-house technologies and operation processes, custom built from scratch for wholesale food and grocery e-commerce.
So we do both staples and FMCG in different facilities, managed internally.
Fulfillment teams work around the clock to create a frictionless experience for our customers and partners.
This is about one night scale about 6 months ago. We break bulk, so retailers can actually buy what they want, however much they want. It's 100% tracked in-house. We've built technology to actually see where the trucks are, what they're doing. We ship it into our cities, and then last mile is also managed by us, where our teams go out and deliver.
Our ground teams shoulder the promise of serving thousands of customers every day.
And we accept payment across a variety of payment mechanisms, digital, cash, credit, check, pretty much any payment mechanism that you can think of.
Each leg of the order life cycle through our global command center. The $450 billion food.
Sorry, 1 second, guys. And what a strong focus on really providing what the customer really wants means that we actually have the highest customer retention in the market today, right? Any customer that buys even once, in the first month of buying, we have cohorts ranging all the way back to 4 years now. 70 to 80% actually will remain for life. Very high frequency transactions. 80% of our sales actually come from customers who order an average of 12 times a month. So it's a very high frequency, high retention platform. And with that, I'll actually allow Karthik to actually take you through our J24 initiative, which is the initiative of helping the retailer between serving their consumers better.
Thank you, Ashish. So J24 was born out of a necessity to protect the long-term interest of the Kirana stores the more we saw that the Kirana stores were basically, they are ripe for disruption. The first part, we argued that they would not get disrupted. The second part, we are preparing for a disruption and we want to lead that change. And what it essentially does is, our model, it's powered by our new retail platform. We take an existing unorganized Kirana stores and brand them and provide them with all the modern, technologies, including a point of sale. One of the key differences with our point of sale is, first of all, it's a point of sale platform. You can integrate with any point of sale, and it also is deeply integrated with the marketplace full of live supplies. So most point of sales will tell you that you have low stock. Our point of sale will also tell you that you have low stock and you can buy these 10 things and you can actually place an order live from a supplier and it will be delivered by JumboTail. The second thing that we've done is we've connected these J24 stores to every hyperlocal platform. So today these stores are listed in Dunzo, Swiggy, Flipkart, Zomato is in the pipeline. There's a new startup platform called StoreSay. They are trying to integrate with us. So all the people are all integrated with these stores. A simple thing, we transform the stores. We provide them with the capability of a little bit of modernization, low capex transformation, covered store and walk-in, make it into a walk-in store where possible. And these are how it looks like in all the neighborhoods. Our vision is to put a J24 store within 2 minutes of walking distance of every citizen in this country. And with that broader vision, we have to work with these entrepreneurs. It is not possible by doing everything yourself. So we build technologies and processes and capabilities to transform these stores and brand them and create them. I'll just skip these slides because of what I'm already, we are a little bit out of time. A couple of things we are inventing is, a loyalty program across all these J24 stores. Essentially will be a Kirana loyalty program. So Green Card is a loyalty program. It should be a loyalty program that is, internally from the external perspective, is applicable at all J24 stores, but each and every J24 store is a different store. It's a different business. This program has to be a cross-merchant loyalty program that we're building, and we are also building a payment called JumboPay, which can accept payments, and then we have claim to the customer's cash, the retailer's cash. So basic thing is build the brand and help the customer connect with the retailer, with omni-channel retail, with his consumers, provide them with credit, provide them with all the facilities that they can actually run a modern store. So inject big box tools into a small store. And that is essentially J24. And as Ashish brought out, we're also, because we have integrated from the mills and producers, we have private labels today. 15% of our GMV is coming from our own private labels, all the way to the end consumer. We are a full value chain player, and from here we can actually, I'm running short of time. So just to summarize, we are a marketplace, we have private labels, we have credit, we offer go-to-market services for new brands, and we are a new retail. So it's a fully integrated platform that is set to revolutionize the entire mom and pop ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karthik and Ashish. There are questions for you in the chat that I think would be lovely if you can get through.
You want to take this, Karthik?
What are the questions?
I think there may be some questions.
Is a primary business model SaaS or what? No, the primary business model is a fully managed marketplace and retail as a service. So we have our own supply chain, we have our own fintech. So we do all the components and we are a platform. So, we have multiple lending partners. And if MobiKwik want to lend to Kirana stores, you are more than welcome. We have a platform called Bravos. And, we have opened up to 3 or 4 lenders so far. And we also have a need for our J24 stores where banking products, like not just lending products, but purely banking, working capital, current account products are required, which will be deeply integrated with the distributors and everybody. So we own and operate our supply chain. So therefore, it's not a SaaS model. It's a highly operational model. We have a supply chain with about 700 people, and we deliver goods.
This is the lowest cost supply chain in food and grocery today.
Yeah, so your logistic operations are impressive, but wouldn't it be better to partner with a pure play logistics company? Unfortunately, everybody, if you actually look at India, the ones that are actually survived and transformed large markets, the ones who have to build the logistic capability. I wish it is possible on day one, but it is going to be like, just to put on the record, we are actually hiving off our own logistic capability, a separate company called JumboTail Logistics, and going to make it available for every other organized player in the country. Because the way to reach the mom and pop store, there is nobody who's doing what we are doing, and therefore we have to do what it takes to win. That said, we believe that if the market is like fully invested 5 to 6 years from now, many logistic player will develop the capabilities that we have, and the capacities will be augmented. Like today, we have a delivery that augments the capacity for a B2C supply chain, there are Ecom Express and other people. So large scale expansion to cities beyond like say 10th or 15th city, we do definitely see opportunity to partner with logistic companies. Looks like there is a lot you're trying to do. How does this compare versus Udaan does, or what JioMart is trying to do? This is everybody is trying to address each of the problem in a different segment with a different philosophy. I think there will be a long-term convergence of most of the things that we try to do, because all of these people are all going to work in the same segment. But in the short term, we are a full value chain player. Udaan is a horizontal player. They are operating in multiple categories. They are primarily very big on staples and large ticket customers. Most of their customers are large ticket buyers. They're generally other large traders who sell to smaller traders or hotels and other people. Our customers are smaller kirana stores who sell end consumers. And this is a choice. This is a strategic choice we have made. The strategic choice we have made is we have to go to the smaller kirana stores, because our goal is to eventually convert them into a J24 and then touch the end consumers as well. JioMart is an interesting validation to what we have been doing so far. And they are trying to do everything in-house, and we are a platform. So we are a marketplace. Any seller can come and sell on our platform. We are a lending. Anybody can come. So I'll integrate with Paytm. I'll integrate with MobiKwik, BharatPay, everybody. But JioMart's philosophy is everything in-house. And therefore, I think it's a great validation. But from a scale perspective, I think we are different. Our thought process is very different. And that is how I put it that way. Impact of COVID on your business. Lots of ups and downs. Definitely kirana stores have proved their mettle once again. The silent warriors who have actually supported the country. We were the only operational supply chain provider in the regions that we operate, and that includes billion-dollar companies, honestly, and they were all absent. And that's because of our supply chain, the resilient supply chain that we built. And we didn't have to rely on our supply side from local traders. We have deep connections with the farms and the mills, and directly on the brand. So all the TOTs of the brand that you have signed, and we had a relationship with them. Going forward, I think two things are very clear. Modern trade, we predict, as we know, the large format modern trade where large congregation of people will go and crowd. I think that will have significant headwinds in the short, at least in the next 2 years. We think that it will be kirana stores and a significant component of kirana stores connected online, because that's the lowest cost delivery model that you can get. So it's omni-channel, local kirana store, any system that connects and digitizes the kirana store, plus any system that connects these modern kirana stores integrated into the consumer buying has a better future. A lot of questions. Should I continue to take them? I think.
Can you take one final question, and then we'll take a family photo. Like we'll ask everyone to take a photo, and then we'll save this chat so you can answer these questions later.
Absolutely.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Which one?
I think the last one. What is the typical ticket size for your credit customers?
It's a very unique credit product that we have to eventually come up with. So it is as low as 10,000 per lending, and it's a multiple, and even that 10,000 is split into tens of invoices because it's a marketplace. So typically we ask a credit player to settle a 10,000 rupee credit line to the customer, but then the credit player has to process at least 10 invoices for that. So it's a very high frequency credit product, repaid every 1 to 2 weeks. And it requires automation, and we are now building all of the platforms so that even a non-tech pure play NBFC lender can just come and plug into a platform and do whatever it requires to lend. But it's about 10,000 rupees.
It can go up all the way to 2 lakhs, but on a typical transaction, it will be anywhere between 5 to 10,000 rupees. And repayment is largely by check, which we've built technology to actually be able to track and make sure returns happen. We have a 99.75% repayment rate on this.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Karthik. Thank you so much, Ashish.